Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of VCTV, which is the Venture Capital TV and is from La Token. My name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm the Regional Director of La Token based here in Singapore, and I host VCTV Monday till Friday at 8 p.m. Singapore time. So VCTV, for those who are new today, we have a new speaker today. It was born in 2020 in February, in light of the pandemic, where we couldn't travel overseas for conferences. So we moved everything online, and that's where we are since then have grown in terms of the investor community, the audience, and the speaker community as well. So yes, the whole purpose is to connect entrepreneurs like Gaurav, who just joined us today for the first time, with investors like Tushar, Harsh, and Gary. So that's the whole idea for you to pitch your startup to these investors and the audience as well, to get feedback and make some collaborations, make some partnerships. I mean, as Gary says, he's made a lot new connections to VCTV. I'm sure Gaurav today you're going to be doing the same as well as we start the show now. So today we're going to talk about business inclusion, right? What does business inclusion means for investing and fundraising? So that's the whole topic today for discussion. Before I start asking questions, just start with the introductions of our speakers. So that little bit of background and intro. Tushar, over to you, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunny. Always a pleasure to be back on the show. Myself, Tushar Kansal from Consultancy Ventures. We are an investment management firm into venture capital, equity, debt, and mergers and acquisitions. Have personally invested in 4 companies, exited from one, and also manage an angel network with 38 high net worth individuals by the name Saffron First. I've worked for companies like private equity practice at Deloitte and Touche, Brand Capital, which is India's largest VC fund by the number of deals. I've headed treasury at Russian company Systema's India unit, and also was CFO with Distribution Logistics. That's a company owned by Guggenheim Partners. I really believe in business inclusion, and hence was looking forward to be on this panel today. And thank you so much for making me a part of this panel.
Awesome, fantastic. Tushar, thank you so much and welcome back. Next, I have Harsh from AHA Ventures. Hi, Harsh. Welcome back on VCTV. So your introduction.
Hi, Sony. Glad to be back on VCTV to have you presenting again and to meet fellow familiar faces in Gary and Tushar. Always a pleasure to have them as well. So my name is Harsh Shettia, a venture partner with AHA Ventures. I've worked with companies like Johnson & Johnson, Paytm, and I started my own startup as well a few years back. Currently, as a venture partner, I'm helping startups scale their business, assist them with whatever that they need, in terms of growing their business, and also help them raising funds with other funds and other high net worth angel investors as well. So if any startup needs any help, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Harsh. Next, we have Gary. Gary, hi, welcome back. Good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
Good to see everybody. I'm great. I'm fantastic. So
I see something different today in the background.
I have what I did is I have the background on from my show. I put it, I don't know, I wanted to do it's a little different. It's my show's background.
That's cool.
Anyhow, my name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I've done 17 companies, 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team. Click Software, an Israeli company that was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, which is one of the top AI tech companies in the world today. I love AI. I love quantum computing. I've written 123 articles now. It keeps going up because I keep writing more every week. It's like some drop off, but some go up. Anyhow, so we look at AI as a new electricity. We create companies through GSP, Get Shit Done Venture Studios, my venture studio. We look at companies around the world, working with them to take them through Silicon Valley to create more unicorns. We love it, and it's great to be here on VCTV. It feels like family hour when I'm here.
Family hour.
My friend.
It's VCTV family hour. Absolutely rightly said. So we have a new addition to this family, Gaurav from Gurgaon. We just had a bit of a discussion before we went live. Gaurav is going to be pitching today. He's going to share his startup today. So Gaurav, a little bit of intro before we start the questions for the session. Is Gaurav there? Is it frozen on us? Is it?
Gaurav, you are on mute.
Giving me so warm welcome.
Yeah, you are fine. You are
Am
fine.
I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, great. So, thank you so much, guys, for the warm welcome, and it's good to be part of a community, being looking at forward growth. It's been two decades I've been working in the BPM industry. I work with companies like Make My Trip, Yatra. I work with Circo in terms of global services, manage the portfolio and the span of control of about 3,000 people myself. Then it's been the first venture which I started about 2.5 years ago. That's pretty small and it about me. Looking forward to speak more and understand and learn from you guys.
Perfect. Thank you, Gaurav. Gaurav, and welcome to VCTV. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Thank you so
So
much.
fantastic. So talking about business inclusion in terms of investment and fundraising. So how does business inclusion affect corporates and their bottom line? So let's start with Tushar.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Sunny. We live in times when there has been a lot of intermingling and a lot of to and fro of different communities across borders, across geographies. We live in a diverse uh, globe, and because of the technology of communication, because of easy access to reaching out to each other through Wi-Fi and internet, it becomes very important that everyone is quite accustomed to working in diverse teams, and this includes inclusion towards minorities, towards women, towards race, gender, towards rich, poor, and so across the board. And there have been studies like studies said that it's a study on Wall Street that executive committees which comprised of at least 33% women had a net profit margin over 10 times greater than companies with no women on their committees. So, there's a survey by CFA Institute which found out that 83% of institutional investors value gender diversity specifically, with 55% believing that it drives better performance in investment teams. So, companies which are lacking transparency in this area or trailing their peers in terms of diversity, inclusion, they see negative impacts in their long term competitiveness, brand reputation, or financial condition. And this is how this whole aspect of business inclusion has come to the forefront. We find that regulators and governments across countries have formed laws and regulations around this aspect, and increasingly more and more diversity is being found across corporates in general, and specifically with regards to today's topic, which is about business inclusion in investing and fundraising. So we find that the several large investment funds are more diverse than they were a decade back or 2 decades back.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tushar, for that opening remarks. Next, I have Gary. Gary, with the same question. How does business inclusion affect corporates and the bottom line?
Yeah, so I mean, we look at it, and I've said this a long time. So one of the challenges with startups around the world is you really need to have intergenerational teams also. And by that, what I mean is you need to have the people with the gray hair because they've got the experience, especially today with the pandemic, because credibility is really, really important. And it's hard if you haven't met people and haven't worked with them before to really get that credibility. So that's door number one. And as Tushar had said, we look at it, the second pillar is really multicultural teams, people from all walks of life, people from all cultures. Why? Because it breeds a much better company, a more resilient, a stronger team. And the third pillar is we look at these decentralized teams that can really contribute from everywhere, because you have a cultural diversity, but you need platforms like Zoom to be able to communicate today. And in that third pillar, we look at remote workers, right? How can they collaborate? How can they share their ideas within the team? And actually, how can we help manage those teams better to optimize the performance? In fact, my company, Eva, AI is one of those companies that really helps on the third pillar. So it's a great opportunity, and we've been forced to learn how to collaborate better, how to work better over the last year with this pandemic. It's really changed things dramatically.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gary. I don't see Hers here on my screen. I think we've lost him, unless he's backstage. No, I don't see him. So thanks for those opening remarks. Gaurav, we're going to come back to you in another 20 minutes. So talking about inclusion, so talking about the investor community, how has this business inclusion come to play a role in investors and investment teams? Tushar, let's start with you because I don't see Harsh over here.
Sure. Are you able to hear me? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a time, Sunny, when I remember I used to visit investment companies, and what I found out by and large was that the decision making was in single hands. There used to be one person who was kind of deciding where the equity money would be put up. But increasingly, what has happened is that this has led, towards a decision making by teams, and there is a structural change where teams dominate. And this has been a shift from the star portfolio manager model to investment teams, and all those actively managed US equity funds or fixed income funds, they're all run by teams, and hence the role of diverse team has come to the forefront. This is basis three factors. One is internal, which is you want to attract and retain the right people. Secondly, recruitment and development, giving out benefits in the right manner, compensation, and in terms of learning.
Yeah.
From an external perspective, it has meant that you listen to and serve society. You maintain your social responsibility norms. Your products and services are aligned with diversity. Your marketing is aligned with diversity. We saw like how Benetton markets itself with with the racial opposites as part of the advertisement, and also in terms of supplier diversity. I mean, right now we have supply chains running across Asia, very deeply embedded. More than 60% of the global trade happens through these supply chains in terms of production, products and services, and manufacturing. So increasingly, on an external basis, the company has to deal with diversity, and it is only better that it adopts diversity as a way of life, as a way of business, and also from a ethical and moral perspective, from the perspective of principles on which the company runs, the very foundation. It drives the strategy of the company. So vision, leadership, structure, all these three have to be aligned with globalization, with diversity, with women participation, with equal rights, and that makes it more democratic. And the more democratic it is, the decision making increases, the quality of decision making goes up. So this is how it impacts. And there has been a study which says that what motivates a company's efforts regarding diversity and inclusion. 80% said it improved business outcomes, 71% talent acquisition, 52% from an ethical and values perspective, 42% reputation, 28% client demand, and only 6% said it was because of government compliance or intercompany compliance. So this shows that business inclusion across investment teams, across companies, across the investment sector has come to the forefront, and it will remain more in the forefront in the times to come.
Right, great points. Like the very good points, especially coming talking about leadership team, roles, be it investing or any startup as well. So Harsh is back. Hi, Harsh. We lost you for a bit. So
Yeah,
I
I'm,
question.
I'm sorry, I missed that part.
Yeah, so I'm going to repeat the question for you. How has business inclusion come to play a role in investors and investment teams?
Correct. So, to add to Tushar's point, you see a lot of diversity in terms of how the investors and investment teams have been structured, right? I would kind of take it one step further, and not just in terms of investors, but also in the kind of companies and the startups that you fund, right? You need to have a lot of diversity over there as well, because diverse backgrounds, they each have their own uniqueness, their own specialty that they bring, right? And today, if you look at it, most startups, the customer segment has become so different and so unique. You cannot have a single company targeting the entire market, right? So even in every category, they will find like 5 6 major players, each targeting their own customer segment. So we must encourage startups from different customer segments as well, focusing on different customer segments. For example, you might have from different ethnic backgrounds, different religious backgrounds, or different sexes as well. Each has their own approach. You just look at how Bumble soared, right? The Bumble
Yeah,
IPO which came last week. It was a
right.
phenomenal example. It was a
Absolutely.
phenomenal example that if given the opportunity, we can see a lot of progress happening. And additionally, the bigger benefit is it also improves the overall economy of the community, right? What has happened till now is the wealth tends to be concentrated with only a few a limited number of people, right? The elites is what we call it. But now, if we kind of redistribute the wealth even to the people who don't have access to that kind of wealth, what happens is these people can then tend to consume a lot more. They tend to drive the economy further, and this further leads to business growth. So it's like a complete cycle of driving the economy. So that is how the entire inclusion works in a bigger scale, driving the entire economy as a whole and bringing the entire economy up overall.
Yeah, great points. Ash, thank you so much for that example as well.
Thanks.
Oh, it's a very recent example and it's a very apt. Gary, over to you with this same question, please.
Which question do you want? I know you. I think you asked two separate ones. Which?
Yeah, so it's about business inclusion. How does it play a role in investors and investment teams?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's so as we said, we look at now we've got an entirely different way of looking at business. We're looking at companies from all over the world because of really the democratization of opportunity. What we look for is we look at teams that are flexible in terms of cultural sensitivities, and let me tell you what I mean. We need teams that, for instance, we have 3 African companies today, one Indonesian company, a couple German companies, US, et cetera. But we look for teams that really have that flexibility. We look for teams, one, that are diverse, but also have flexibility in being able to be flexible and really localize their culture. By that, I mean, we take the companies to Silicon Valley. And so if you're a company, for instance, from Rwanda and you're coming over to the Valley, how can you really adapt in a very positive way to that cultural shift? And we call it assimilation, and we use really a 2-step process. One is our lab, our GSD labs, and the other is to become a GSD portfolio company. It's not an easy process, but that's really where those companies win. So not only are we looking for that intergenerational, multicultural diversity, we're looking at how flexible those companies are to be able to really adapt to these new environments, because that adaptation, that assimilation is critically important if you want to create a unicorn. Click Software, which is a company that we brought from Haifa, Israel, over to Campbell, California, a number of years ago, we had the same kind of challenges, right? Bringing it over and really adapting to the culture in all kinds of different ways. So that, from our standpoint, is the final step. Can that company be flexible? Can that company adapt? And do they have all those elements inside of it? But if they have the elements and they can't adapt, that's not going to be a win. It won't be a unicorn.
Great points, Gary. Besides being a unicorn, what else needs to be done? Thank you so much. I think we're done with that question. Next question I have is how has the financial inclusion panned out across the globe in developed and emerging economies? And I would like to go first to Tushar with this question.
So, Sunny, these are actually questions which have a cultural connotation. So there are the various cultures where there is a defined role of a woman, and the way they see men in society, and the way how your religion is, what it teaches, and how it translates practically into your way of life, your way of living. So we have, even within Asia, there is so much of diversity. We have very different, the way Chinese and the Confucian countries like South Korea,
Yeah.
Japan, and very different with the Indo-Chinese areas like Southeast Asia. And India is again so culturally different. It's difficult to define a single way it will behave. And Middle East is different as since. So basically, what I feel is that because a lot of these countries, they were initially led by dynasties. So that's why, because of the dynasties, a lot of women came out in the front. I mean, the world's first female prime minister was from Sri Lanka, and it is quite surprising. So it was because it was part of a dynasty. So and with the current vice president in the US being a woman, so all these things, they serve as very good examples across the board, and they motivate others to come in front and take the rightful place. What I feel is that an organization's most pressing need is related to professionalism in the diversity and inclusion space. Because while recruiting, developing, and retaining a diverse workforce, that is very important. Leadership and accountability is important. Strategy and vision for diversity and inclusion is important. And measuring success in terms of those impact goals is important, and communicating companies' stance towards the society in impact in business inclusion terms is important, and communicating the same through the products and services is important. So all these factors, they make it a must for business inclusion to be practiced amongst the, specifically the fundraising community
Yeah.
and the investment community. I work very closely with a accelerator based in Middle East called Viability. It is a women focused accelerator. Similarly, we have women focused accelerators here in India as well. So just talking about this whole region as such. So there has been an explosion in support for businesses which practice these business inclusion factors, and I foresee that this trend will only continue. Me personally, I have handled a lot of mandates which had business inclusion themes. I've raised millions of dollars for these companies and continue to believe in them, continue to support them. And along with my investment partners, we are always bullish on companies which maintain these criteria.
That's great to know, Tushar. We have a lot of women entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of color within large open as well, community, VCTV community. So we'll be happy to connect with them as well. Thank you, Tushar.
Thank
Harsh,
you.
over to you, the same question.
Sure. So to kind of add to Gary's point, right? He mentioned how he's helping startups across the world from developing countries to set up their operations in Silicon Valley and how they can expand across the world, right? I'm trying to do something similar, particularly for Indian startups, to get them access to international markets, international funds. That is why I'm reaching out to multiple players like this. Additionally, if you look at it, even within India, India is a hugely different market as well, right? You look at the metros, the tier one, tier two cities, they have a different universe altogether. And then you look at the small towns and the villages, they have a completely different universe altogether, right? So when you look at the financial inclusion side of it, just about till about 5 years back, most of the people in the towns and the villages, they still didn't even have a bank account with them. This is after the government of India's initiatives to kind of digitize them, to create with the Aadhaar account, give them the micro banking accounts. And with all those initiatives, we finally have brought those people into the economic stream. And we are seeing the benefits of that, where the economy is constantly growing by adding them into the official economic system. So that is what we need to do. We need to give more opportunities, to the people who still don't have access to those kind of services, those kind of facilities which people in the metros and the tier ones, they kind of take it for granted. I'll give you an example of several startups who come to pitch to me. Those startups are so lean in operations, and they are executionally they are brilliant. And with only slight tactical polishing, strategic polishing, if you can guide them, mentor them, these guys can easily compete with the top startups in the metros and the tier ones. All that they need is some support over there. So that is why, when I see these pitches coming from small cities like Indore or Bhopal, or some towns even like Ramnagar in Rajasthan, people might not even have heard of those. But I see these innovative ideas, and it really, it really motivates me to see how much entrepreneurship is spread in India, how deep rooted it is in India, and people are trying to make a difference and get them a better life for themselves, for the people around them, and their next generation. So financial inclusion is definitely the way to go to kind of ensure that those people are uplifted and brought up to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, Harsh, I really like the fact that you said all those remote places of India that we may not have heard of, but there are entrepreneurs with great ideas, and people like you, they need you, right, to bring them to the limelight and to the focus. Great job. Thank you so much. We do have a question from an audience. Can we take that question, Hashmit?
Sure, absolutely.
Hashmit, can we take that question, please? Okay, never mind. Oh, okay. It's another question. Do you speak at conferences about diversity and digital assets? Oh, wow, that's a very uh, what's the connection between diversity and digital assets?
So I can answer that. So basically, Gary was talking about Mr. Khurram Shroff, who holds $50 billion worth of bitcoins. He's a firm believer in women inclusion, and he has been running a campaign to get women into crypto related businesses and
Ah,
crypto related investing. And
ah,
there are 1,000 people in the world who hold 40% of bitcoins, and
yeah,
these people, they form the market. And if these people come out and support, I remember Elon Musk did a very famous thing. He said that if anybody wants to work in Tesla, he doesn't require a college degree. This was like shattering the ceilings, and US government also subsequently followed it up by saying that the degrees are not required, because in today's day and age it is about skills, and all the content required to upskill or cross skill yourself is available on the internet for free. So these kind of I Marissa Mayer, when she
yeah,
was at Google, uh, we saw her on the front in all these articles, and the motivation it gave to women. I mean, that's so it's uh, so on on the matter of digital assets,
yeah.
I believe that yes, there would be a lot of voices speaking up in favor of women in digital assets as well.
That's a great example to share. To be honest, I was not sure if we could take that question, but thanks for sharing that. If we don't have anybody else taking that question, let's move on to Gaurav, who is going to present his startup to all of us here. Please have a look and provide the feedback to him. Gaurav, over to you now. All the best.
Thank you so much, guys. Just give me a minute. I'll share the screen.
Yeah,
Hi,
we can see
hi
it.
everybody. Everybody can see that screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Hi, guys. I'm here to pitch for an impact opportunity for investment. We are an intensity impact organization focusing on social impact. And after working for 2 decades in the BPM industry, I personally plan to give back to the community in the area of expertise and be profitable as a company too. So, we've been into 2 decades into BPO. So we started this venture about 3 years ago. What we do particularly is we hire employees in human resources, human capital from economically weaker section of the society who have household income annually close to about $2,500 to $3,000 USD. We as a company create job opportunities for those human capital or employees available in tier 2, tier 3 cities of India. We train them, we uplift them, we bring them the skill set which is required as per the requirement of our clients and processes, if you talk about. So that's pretty much a little bit about the nature of outsourcing market. Talking about, we outsource. Why the companies outsource? We outsource to lower down the cost, bring focused approach, and get right talent to the right job. With the last year being the worst year of all the businesses and humankind, the large corporations have to rethink the strategies to cope up with the businesses loss and maintain the run rate deficit, which is roughly approximately about 25 to 30%, which means the companies will look to outsource at lower cost to increase the profit margin and to come back to a level which was before 2020, right? So that's where the outsourcing marketing looks like, and we definitely have, bring all these skill set which is required, the reasoning for outsourcing. Coming to introducing Ockwell now. Ockwell is a transformational impact outsourcing BPO BPM company. We combine our deep industry knowledge and with the technology and business expertise to co-create, innovate transformational solutions for our clients. At our core, we work with a hybrid model which lets any human resource work from anywhere, office or home, but deliver the same quality to our customers by having a monitoring tool in place and the team monitoring them in and out. Our disaster recovery module, is highly, it's delivered usually at the time of disruption because of the COVID. We took just about 8 hours to revamp the entire center from work from office to work from home. So that's how we are prepared and well planned for the future and for this as well. Solution, we talk about what we provide to the customer. We cater to the solutions which is in cost reduction, matching the right talent for the processes, requirement of our clients, improve productivity. So we cater to all these processes in the standard BPM division of the industry, but through the impact route, we're helping people to create jobs. We as a company are creating jobs. Coming to that, our mission is to create jobs and make economical weaker section of our society across the globe self-sufficient, and they can believe in themselves and live a happy life, yet be profitable as a business, as a venture, which I'm catering to. I personally, come from a service background. My entire family is a service background. My dad used to work in a company. I've done 18 years of work experience. Looking at the tough life which, as a family, I've led, I thought to discuss with my family that I want to start an organization in the same industry which I have expertise in and give back to the society. That's the reason I created this Impact BPO organization. And as of today, we are 50% human resource which I have in my company is from marginally sections of the society. 52% of our human capital are women. 75% of the human capital are from economical weaker section across India. We as a company introduce many skill development programs for them, and even if they want to go to any different directions in their career down the line after working X and uplift them, we assist them and write them guidance and assistance to our best abilities to help them grow in life. Also, as are to ensure our employees, we have a team of developers with customized technical tools to make it easier for the employees to use, thus increase the efficiency process for our clients as well. Because these people come from tier 2, tier 3 backgrounds, may not have the same skill set as per the town or upcoming cities and countries, but we bring them expertise and we bring the efficiency in the system that they have to learn, and we skill them up so that they can do the work swiftly. We bring that customer through a technical team. Team behind Ockwell Impact BPO is a private limited organization. It's a self-funded company. We two are directors. Myself, Gaurav Sani, and Monica Sikka. We're two partners with same amount of equity, 50% each. Moving ahead, we come with combined experience of 50 years as a team. We have our own team which take care of everything. We work with companies like Make My Trip, Circo, Intelligent Global, Keep Global, Kavina, Yatra, much more. Monica comes with a background working with Accenture, Religia, IBM, and much more. So we have the right management experience needed to run the show, and we've been running it for past approximately 3 years now. Market opportunity as a global, if we talk about BPO industry, which is over $100 billion a year, everybody knows about it, and is expected to grow at a rate of 8% from 2027 as per the market research shows. So opportunity is huge. We're trying to cater small piece of market by giving back to the community as well. Yet we are profitable as a business overall. Business model. On the target market comprises all B2C and B2B companies across EMEA, APAC, North America, ANZ regions are our clients. Our monetization is we work on per FT rate or per month basis, and hourly rate as per the agreement with the client. It depends from client to client, but the average rate mentioned here is INR 31,000. Also, we as per the experience in the industry, it's been 2 decades now. We're also conceptualizing a product, looking at the gig economy right now. We're planning to introduce a platform which is like human as a service, which is HaaS, where we would use our employees on the bench. We have trained them and work for them to cater customers who want to use call center or BPO companies for of time, maybe 3 hours, maybe for a weekend, maybe for 6 to 8 weeks, maybe seasonal business. Let's say in the air conditioning industry, in the winters, they don't require much of the workforce, but in summer, they require a huge workforce. They can get those opportunities from that model which you're trying to conceptualize, which will be called as HaaS, human as a service. Moving to the current transaction, current traction in my company, it's been 3 years approximately running. So the first year when we ran the organization, we had an annual revenue of 100K USD. Second year, we had an annual revenue of 120K USD. During the COVID, we got the people to work from home and everything availability. So current, we rose 12x with the current run rate of the calendar year from January 2021 to December 2021. We're doing 120K monthly, which is a 3 million annually gross revenue talk about. So we're running at a 12x growth with 19% to 21% average EBITDA overall. Also to add, we already have purchase orders to add another 100K monthly revenue effective from April 21. So we can add another 100K on a monthly run rate. So increasing our revenue to another another $1 million next year.
Right.
Moving ahead next to the competitive landscape, these are the companies which we follow. Every company, all the top BPO companies are doing exceptionally well on the stock exchange and have running EBITDA ranging between 20-25%. We're almost there. With a leap of faith, we're doing it. We would do that. That's where we're targeting. Moving to the next, if you talk about, sorry, Sunny, go ahead. Can you hear me?
So, yeah. I thought I lost you for a bit. Go ahead. Sorry, continue.
No problem. No worries. Here is where, when you talk about companies, where the awful impact BPO comes into picture. Unlike a competition, we're using price as a tool to capture the market size globally. Right now, focusing in India, getting tier 2, tier 3 companies. We normally propose pricing 10%, 50% less than the competition and gain the business because we have the capacity to get people at the lower cost of the market, at the labor laws as per the Indian government, and we train them to bring them there. The reason is we're able to sustain much better, have the profitability, because when we get people from tier 2, tier 3 locations, the continuity of the business is longer with them. As per the BPO industry, the attrition trend is much higher. We have very minuscule compared to them, very, very low attrition rate because they are more dedicated. They get a lot of values and culture from different cultures. So we have diverse in our company. Right? So moving ahead, if you look at it, we are on there. Every industry has the profit margins. We are following that and we would be there soon. Why HaaS? We as a company coming from the background, we follow Agile as a principle. Agile is a principle. We won't follow that. Monica, my partner, she's an Agile champion herself. So we definitely follow that. We keep very simple matrices. We are one company which is 100% transparent with our clients. We give them access to real-time transaction data for their processes. They can look at it across the globe whenever they want from the systems which we have built. We give them access to look at their team itself. Only their team is visible to them from the data security point of view. They can monitor every call. They can download the call logs. Everything can be done on the real-time basis for their clients. So as I said, we as a company keep everything short and simple. We follow Agile principles for effectiveness of our delivery. That's why we say Agile performance delivery is our motto. Agile principles we follow, we do basic Agile process efficiency, optimization, value stream mapping, customer experience, servant leadership thought process. That's what we look at. We keep our customers first and we keep our employees happy because what we believe is happy employees make our customers happy. So we follow that very strictly in our company. Just moving on to a little bit of traction and projections for the next 5 years. 2021, as said, we currently at 3 million run rate of the calendar year. For the 2022, we'll be roughly hitting around 5 million USD as a turnover. 2023, looking at 15 million as a USD turnover. 2024, 32 million, and 2025, 45 million USD as turnover. So looking at that growth map, and we have so as said, we already have purchase order for next year. So we're almost there in terms of just need to execute from April 2021. So we are there. My ask for investment is roughly around 820K USD against the 16% equity in my company. The fund allocation, which I want to do is, international expansion, 30% to international expansion and team building. We want to go global, take business and help the communities wherever needed to, give back to society, hire people from tier 2, tier 3 cities where employment is weak, economical weaker section is higher, get diversity in, train them on and give them work. Some 10% will go to brand and digital acquisition, 30% toward working capital, and 30% toward debt consolidations. That's the fund allocation we're looking at with this money we're coming at. Roadmap, just to give you a quick overview, we incorporated in 2018. 2020, March, we were 23 seats with 86, about 100K, 110K, 20K turnover. USD, 2021, we're sitting at 300 plus seats. Right now, as I speak, it's 400 with 120 USD, 120K USD per month as a turnover, which raises to about 3 million for the year, for the calendar year. Target for 2023 is 3,000 seats with about, 15 million turnover, and 2025 targeting as 45, 50 million turnover. Feel free to, I'm here. That's so much. Thank you so much for hearing me out. I'm ready to answer all your questions.
Thank you, Gaurav. I would say great presentation, and yeah. So sharing, you can stop the presentation. Yeah, thank you. Just did in time. Let's take the questions from our investor speakers. I would like to maybe start with Tushar. Go ahead.
So, Gaurav, really great presentation. Thank you so much. I have only two questions. The first one is, how is Equal able to meet so many impact goals while growing 12x year on year, and the others are not able to do that?
See, talking about impact goals, I come from the industry. We do have pool of resources. When I started the organization, as said, I had a clear indication in my mind that I want to build an impact organization, give it back to the community. So we've already tied up with a lot of schools or a lot of small hubs in the tier 2, tier 3 cities like panchayats and everything, where we keep on going and hunting people, get them on board, talk about them, and get them on. We even hire people. I want to tell you, we even hire people who have not qualified or not even passed the higher secondary, or they failed in the 12th grade exam in India, what we call. But we get, and if they're legal age of working, we hire them, we train them at our cost. So that's how we keep it growing. We are trying to keep the map whole because we plan ahead. So we know our pipelines well. We're very strong in our planning. We do execute well. So we plan a quarter in advance and get the people on board 4 to 8 weeks before. So that's on our cost. We train them for 6 weeks before showing them to the client or improving them to the process. So we plan a quarter in advance. That's why we're able to keep up. We don't wait for the clients to. So at a given point of time, I already have 50 to 60 people on bench who are available, trained for the job. So any process coming in real time, process.
Right.
Okay. So can I ask Sunny one more question?
Yeah. Go ahead.
My other question. Yeah. So the gig economy has taken shape, and I believe you guys have to manage your bench as well. So there is a line you used in the presentation about the gig economy. One thing I wanted to ask about that, and the second thing is, you had mentioned in the presentation that there is an opportunity to buy foreign businesses and offshore their cost centers to India. So if you can throw light on these two things, please.
So I will start with the gig economy. Right now, looking at the gig economy, everybody, looking at the pandemic, everybody wants to come and do something on their own, digitalization on the market. Yeah. So what I'm trying to conceptualize is people. I always have people on bench. Minimum is 30 to 50 people on bench. So why to waste the potential? What we do is I'm trying to build a platform. Let's say anybody across the world wants to buy certain hours of BPO service or incoming service or outcalling done. He can book from the platform, and we can use those resources on bench to generate revenue for us and give them income as well. So there are a lot of companies, as I said in the pitch as well, there are a lot of companies which are seasonality business. Let's say logistics company. They require seasonality based or a region based focus, right? So we can give them like 8 hours. Let's say talk about international people want to go only weekends. They want support only on weekends. They only want to do calling for about 4 weeks or 6 weeks. So it will be a subscription based model. That's what I'm conceptualizing right now. But we have a plan to launch that during the mid of this year. We have a tech team for building that platform in house. So we would be able to. So that's how we utilize the bench people and generate revenue from them and give them opportunity to earn as well.
Wow, that's great.
And the other question was about, you said buying foreign companies.
Correct. The second aspect of the growth which I'm looking at is a lot of small call centers across the globe which are available in different parts of the world. The idea of getting the funding and acquire some small call centers and put a footprint across the globe, take the business and run with the relationship, talk about them and move them to the tier 2 cities where skill set is available to train them and move them. This way, the idea here is to bring profitability increase from our side. And also the current industry, the market actually says that everybody has to lower cost to come to back level a year back, which they were 2020. Because the deficit because of the pandemic has gone 20 to 25, 30% the profitability of the business. So that has to be covered. The cost remain the same because that's the corporate structure would remain the same. Some pink slips and everything there, but overall impact definitely would be there in the profitability of the margin. To recover that, every company would require to lower down the cost. How would they lower down the cost? For example, if I'm working in any part of the US right now, the average rate would be X amount of dollars per hour per everything. But doing that, we can bring down the cost, save about 30% of it. Let's say it's $10 an hour per average rate. If we can deliver the same kind of cost in about $6.50, $6.25, that's a save to the company, increasing the profit margin, because anyway, call center customer service is always treated as a cost center, not a profit center, unless it is a sales center. So that's where the outlook is. So idea is to go international, acquire small set of companies, and then grow from there, have a foothold there. Because in dealing in every company, in every country, we need to have an office there, which gives more control towards the customer and more trust from the customer.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Sunny.
Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, Gaurav. Gary, Harsh, any questions for Gaurav?
Yeah, so what's the exit strategy?
Exit strategy.
Yeah.
Exit. Gaurav, you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost you. Please repeat the question.
So Gary's question.
What's the exit strategy?
Gaurav, exit strategy. Yeah, please.
Yeah, sorry. So exit strategy, I've kept two options. One is, after 3 to 4 years of time, we can buy back the equity from you guys at the current valuation which is there, or you can sell it off to anybody if you want to move out of the system and get somebody else.
But I mean, in terms of the company, so are you going to sell the company? Do you want to be what is it? Are you trying to do
Are you in terms of company to talk about? So if I talk personally, my personal goal is to raise an IPO, go on a NASDAQ listed. That's how my target is. That's why I'm looking at expansion in international market. So our target is to go list an IPO, maybe in India or NASDAQ or where we are able to feasibly possible at point of time. That's where the goal of the company is.
Have you ever thought of a SPAC?
I'm sorry?
A SPAC.
No, I don't think so.
SPAC. No.
No, I want to be honest and no, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, you might want to think about it.
Sure, I will, definitely, sir.
Can I ask one more, or Harsh, you want to ask something?
Yeah, a couple questions which I had in my mind. I wanted to understand these people whom you are training, right? So are they on your company payroll or are they like completely freelancers?
No, they are on company payroll.
They're on company payroll. So you must be having like huge number of desks and huge assets in terms of training them and that kind of expenses, right?
Yes. So whenever we start a business, I kept it very low in terms of assets and depreciation point of view. We always, we always ensure that we have space. We have rented space available. We have offices. I have got 2 offices in Gurgaon where we have availability about 500 seats where we train the people in people.
And what is the training cost like? As in, are you training them for free or are they paying for the training? Then you kind of give them a job. How does the structure work?
We take the training on our cost. We take the training on our cost.
On your cost, okay. And what do the gross margins look like? You mentioned you're making 30,000 revenue per seat, right? So what is the gross revenue on that for you?
Sorry to cut you short. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just asking, what's the gross revenue for you look like, right? So for example, if you're charging say 1 lakh rupees, how much of that is company gross revenue minus the expenses?
So EBITDA is roughly around 18 to 20% based on process to process, how we get that profit. Average EBITDA is about 18 to 20%.
Okay, 18 to 20% is EBITDA. So I'm assuming gross would be around 35 to 40 if I'm not wrong, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. Okay, got it. Thanks.
So what's the feedback about the presentation, Harsh, if you have any?
Yeah, so I think the business model is pretty sound. Probably in the presentation deck, probably less words and more images. It becomes much more pleasurable to the eyes, right? Instead of just reading through all of that becomes quite stressful. So that would be my only feedback on the deck.
Also, as said, also I really want to highlight here. Also, as said in the presentation, we already have another purchase order which is coming from one of the government subsidiaries here in India, looking for expansion for about 300 seats in the other parts of the world, other parts of the India. So that's already there in the purchase order. So I'm just looking at that's just want to highlight everybody out.
Got it. Got it.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Gaurav from anyone?
No, I'm through.
Now, Gaurav, you did a nice presentation. I agree with Harsh. You might want to check. There's a book that a friend of mine just wrote called "Getting to Wow," Bill Reichert. It would help you, and you don't want to. You want to lessen the words. You want to make it more impactful because you got a lot of good things to say, but you got to really connect with their souls when you're saying it. Check the book out. It's you can get it on Amazon, but it'll help you out.
Sure, definitely. Thank you, Gary. Thanks for
Just
the feedback.
one final feedback for you, Gaurav. The business is pretty solid, no question about it, right? So when you're presenting, a bit of a crest and a trough in the tonality, right? That really helps in building the connection. If you go on a monotone throughout the entire page, sometimes it becomes a little boring. I'm sorry to use that word.
No problem.
Fluctuation, if you use it that way, it's going to be far more effective and far more attractive as well.
I think
You want to slow down, girl. When you're speaking, you want to slow down and emphasize your words. One time I took a course, so presentation skills at Stanford, and it was a postgraduate course. We had an actor coach, who was actually an actress that actually taught us with the business school. It's important to do that to emphasize your words. Slow down.
Understood.
I think good observation there, Harsh.
Absolutely.
Even I wanted to say that, but thank you so much.
Yeah.
So last
And
question.
any presentation, how it works is you start with the BAM. You start with the BAM. That's the hook. You attract them with that, and then it's a story by itself. It's like you're running a movie. If you do,
it's the wow statement. That book I told you about, Getting to Wow. The BAM is wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alrighty, great, awesome. Last question before we take closing remarks and close the show. How do women play a role in increasing business inclusion? And very quickly, across markets, Tushar. I mean, you just quickly as a closing remark.
See, my sister is a marathon runner. My wife is a very senior investment banker in since 18 years. I have seen the roles they play. So so
Right.
what I'm trying to say is that women are leading from the front. I saw a speech by Hillary Clinton. I remember, and it was so impressive, and she knew what she was talking about, and coming from a woman, it just makes it more connecting. It lends a lot of reality and actuality to the whole thing. In on the numbers front, yes, finance, investing, fundraising, they still remain male dominated, and women do face problems on that front. But having said that, things are changing very fast, and with the active support of investor community to these issues, especially women empowerment, it will continue to get better and better for all the aspiring women who are out there wanting to make a mark in a variety of fields, including investing.
Thank you so much, Tushar. Very inspiring to know about the women in your personal lives. Thank you so much. Harsh?
Yeah. So definitely, not just women, even the economically empowered section across the world, right? Basically, the entire underprivileged section. You need to realize that there are tons of opportunities available right now, and there are investors like me across the world who would be more than happy to give a helping hand and support, because we are ones who are actively looking for high performing startups and high performing individuals, giving them the boost so that they can go to the next level, right? So lace up your boots, hustle hard. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a struggle, because it's never been as competitive as it's been today, right? But if people have seen the Rocky Balboa movie, there's a classic dialogue: "Life will keep hitting you hard. No one will win against life, but it's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. So keep that attitude with you, keep on moving forward, and with the right time, if you connect with the right investor or the right fellow partners, you will definitely soar to new heights.
Awesome. Fantastic, Harsh. Really nice, optimistic.
Amazing, Harsh. Very nice.
Very
Thank
good
you.
line. Thank you. Gaurav, this is the first time on VCTV. What's your experience and feedback about the show?
I'm very happy, and it was a great show. I've learned a lot of stuff from you guys. I've heard about inclusions and impact everything. I would like to be part of the show going forward as an audience. We would love to be follow that and be part of it as well. It was a great talking to you all. Would like to thank you for having me on the show today, and would love to be part of future shows as well. Thank you,
Awesome.
Harsh. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, Gary, for your inputs, feedback taken. We'll
Thank
work
you,
on
Gaurav.
All the
Thank you,
best,
Gaurav.
Gaurav.
Thank you.
And
Thank
thanks,
you,
Sami, for being today moderator. Sorry.
Awesome. My
How
pleasure.
do people reach out to you, Gaurav? You have to tell
Yes.
that.
Sure. So everybody can reach out to me on my mobile number or email ID. My mobile number. You want me to say here? Is it okay? Or you want me to write somewhere we can share it across?
It's okay. You can just say very quickly your number. People can
Sure.
take it down maybe.
People can connect with me on my mobile number, which is 9899 India code 91. So 9899 005897. Or you can email me on my email ID, which is Gaurav GAURAV .Sahani SAWHNEY at Auquall, spelled as AUQUALL.com.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gaurav, for that. We have a question for Gary. Can we have that question back on the screen?
Yeah, what is the book again? It's called Getting to Wow by Bill Reichert. And if you want, I actually interviewed Bill. He's on our board. Bill is Guy Kawasaki's partner and Garage Technology Ventures. But I did an interview with him a couple of weeks ago. You can check GSD Presents, and he goes into wow a bit. But it's an incredible book, and Bill's one of the godfathers of venture capital in the world.
Right. Thank you so much for taking that question. Awesome. Fantastic. So we're done with the show. Thank you, Gary, Gaurav, Tushar, and Harsh for making this panel again very insightful and informative for our viewers as well. We have got questions coming in. People are actually watching and listening to what we are speaking as we get the questions right. That makes the panel more fun and engaging as well. Thank you so much. And I'll be back tomorrow on another show, another topic with another set of speakers. I would like to urge entrepreneurs like Gaurav to come more and more and speak on VCTV and connect with our investor community. This is the time, this is the platform for all the entrepreneurs like Gaurav to speak out about their ventures. And again, investors, if you like to meet like-minded people like Gary, Tushar, Harsh, please feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to have you here on our shows. So yes, thank you so much. Have a great day, all of you. Stay safe, and I'll see you on another episode of this TV. Till then, take care.